Right now, 45 million square kilometres of ocean heat is feeding into a weather system that could reshape the next 2 weeks across Australia. And if you live in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Darwin, Canberra, Hobart or Alice Springs, what happens next matters to you directly, because mid-February 2026 is not your average summer stretch. The temperature swings coming are massive, the rainfall contrasts are extreme, and one city is about to get hit with more rain in a single afternoon than another city gets in an entire month. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal which Australian city has the highest risk of a dangerous weather event this fortnight and exactly when it peaks. But first, let me give you the national picture, because the numbers alone are shocking. Australia right now is averaging 31 degrees for daily maximums across the country. Sounds manageable, right? Here is the twist. That average is hiding a 40-degree gap between the coolest and hottest spots. While Hobart sits at a comfortable 21 degrees, inland South Australia is pushing 45 to 48 degrees. That is not a typo. 48 degrees in the shade. And on the rainfall side, February the 15th historically records the highest average daily rainfall nationwide at roughly 19 millimetres. But that national number is a lie, because Darwin alone is dumping over 300 millimetres this month, while Perth gets a grand total of 9 millimetres for the whole month. The contrast is absolutely staggering. Humidity ranges from 44% in the desert to 88% in the tropical north. Sea surface temperatures around the coastline are sitting at 23.3 degrees. And here is something most people do not realise. The ocean heat right now is what fuels everything coming next. Every storm, every heat wave, every cyclone risk traces back to those warm waters. Now drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from, because I am about to break down exactly what is heading your way, city by city, with specific timing for every major weather event. Let me start with Sydney. The harbour city is sitting in that classic mid-February sweet spot. Daytime temperatures hovering between 25 and 28 degrees, dropping to 19 or 20 overnight. Sounds perfect, does it not? But here is what catches people off guard every single year. Sydney is about to enter its peak afternoon thunderstorm window. The monthly average is 86 millimetres spread across 5 to 8 rain days. But those storms do not spread evenly. They hit fast and they hit hard. Picture this. The sky goes dark in 10 minutes flat. Rain buckets down for 30 to 60 minutes. Then it clears like nothing happened. That is convective rainfall, hot air rising fast, building massive cumulonimbus towers, then dumping everything in one go. The timing is almost always between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. If you are planning outdoor activities in Sydney, mornings are your golden window. By early afternoon, keep one eye on the sky and a brolly within reach. Winds are averaging 24 kilometres per hour, mostly northeasterly sea breezes that take the edge off beautifully. But the ultraviolet index at midday is extreme. I cannot stress this enough. Sun protection factor 50 plus sunscreen is not optional. It is essential. Now, Melbourne, and this is where things get genuinely wild. Do not skip this part, because Melbourne in mid-February is one of the most unpredictable weather environments in the entire southern hemisphere. Average temperatures range from 15 degrees overnight to 25 during the day. Cooler than Sydney. Seems straightforward, but those averages are hiding something dangerous. Melbourne sits right in the firing line between scorching hot northerly winds blowing down from the inland deserts and cold fronts barreling up from the Southern Ocean. When a hot northerly locks in, temperatures can rocket past 40 degrees for a day or two. Then bang, a cold front smashes through, and within hours, the mercury nosedives below 20. That is a 20-degree drop in a single afternoon. I have seen Melburnians in shorts and thongs at lunch and reaching for jackets by dinner. Only 3 proper rain days are expected for the whole month. But when Melbourne storms hit, they bring thunder, lightning, gusty winds and hail. Hailstorms in Melbourne during summer can shred car windscreens and strip leaves off trees. If you hear a severe thunderstorm warning, get your car under cover immediately. The specific danger window for Melbourne heat waves this February is when those northerly winds establish for 2 or more consecutive days. That is when emergency heat warnings get issued. Watch the Bureau of Meteorology forecasts daily. Brisbane. Now we shift to a completely different beast. If Sydney is pleasantly warm and Melbourne is chaotic, Brisbane in mid-February is a full tropical assault. Daytime temperatures hitting 28 to 31 degrees. That does not sound too bad until you factor in the humidity. Brisbane in February sits at around 80% humidity. When the thermometer reads 30 degrees, your body feels 38 to 40. It is the kind of sticky heat that hits you like a wall the moment you step outside. But the real story in Brisbane is the rain. 172 millimetres average for the month. More than 20 rain days out of 28. That means it rains almost every single day. This is the tail end of the tropical wet season, with monsoonal systems pushing enormous amounts of moisture down the Queensland coast. Some of these rain events are brief afternoon showers. Others are grey, drizzly systems that park over the city for hours. The key timing to watch is late afternoon into evening. That is when the heaviest downpours typically unleash. Sea temperature is 27 degrees, the warmest all year. Gorgeous for swimming. But the wet season brings marine stingers closer to shore, so always swim between the flags. If you are in Brisbane right now, hydration is not a suggestion. It is survival. The combination of heat and humidity drains your body faster than you would believe. 3 to 4 litres of water per day minimum. Do not miss the next section because I am about to cover the city that gets more sunshine and less rain than almost anywhere else on the continent. And the numbers will genuinely surprise you. Adelaide, the festival city, and honestly the weather winner of mid-February. Daytime highs of 26 to 29 degrees, overnight lows of 17 to 19, mostly clear blue skies, dry golden warmth that feels like a warm hug rather than a steam room. And the rainfall? 18 millimetres for the entire month, scattered across maybe 6 days of light drizzle that barely registers. Compare that to Brisbane at 172 millimetres. Adelaide gets roughly 1/10 of the rain. If you want guaranteed fine weather in Australia this February, Adelaide is your answer. Sea temperatures off the coast peak at 20 degrees. Not tropical warm, but perfectly refreshing. Glenelg Beach and Henley Beach are absolute standouts. But here is the one thing Adelaide residents must watch. The city sits on the doorstep of the inland deserts. When a hot northerly pushes down, temperatures can rocket past 40 degrees for a day or two. These heat waves are brutal but short-lived. South Australia Health typically issues warnings when they hit. If you are in Adelaide this fortnight, enjoy the brilliant weather but keep one ear on the forecast for those heat spikes. Perth, the most isolated major city in the world, and in February, arguably the driest. Total rainfall for the entire month? 9 millimetres, spread across roughly 2 rain days. 2 days of rain in 28. Perth in February is essentially a coastal desert paradise. Sun blazing from dawn to dusk. Endless deep blue sky. Dry heat wrapping around everything. Daytime temperatures sit between 30 and 35 degrees, sometimes jumping to 38 or 40 when easterly desert winds kick in. But here is Perth's secret weapon, the Fremantle Doctor. That legendary cool sea breeze that rolls in off the Indian Ocean most afternoons, usually between midday and 3 in the afternoon. It sweeps through the city and drops the temperature noticeably. If the morning heat is doing your head in, just wait. The doctor will arrive right on schedule. Cottesloe Beach, Scarborough Beach, Rottnest Island. This is prime time for all of them. Warm water, blazing sunshine, virtually no rain. Just make sure you are loaded up on sun protection, factor 50 plus sunscreen, and drinking water constantly. Perth's dry heat is deceptive. You lose fluid faster than you realise because your sweat evaporates instantly. Canberra, the bush capital, tucked inland between Sydney and Melbourne with no ocean to moderate temperatures. And that means one thing above all else, massive swings between day and night. Daytime highs of 28 to 32 degrees. Overnight lows plunging to 12 to 15. That is a swing of up to 18 degrees in a single day. Mornings feel pleasantly cool. By lunchtime, you are in the full blast of summer. By evening, you are reaching for a jumper again. Afternoon thunderstorms can pop up when the daytime heat builds, but generally, Canberra-esque February weather is pleasant and manageable. Nearly 13 hours of daylight gives you plenty of time to explore. Now, here is the section I promised you at the start, the city with the highest risk of a dangerous weather event this fortnight. And it is Darwin. The capital of the Northern Territory is right now sitting in the absolute peak of the tropical wet season. Daytime temperatures of 32 to 36 degrees, humidity above 80%. The apparent temperature, what it actually feels like on your skin, hitting 42 to 45 degrees. And the rain. Every single afternoon brings a thunderstorm. Not most days, every day. A single afternoon storm in Darwin can dump 50 to 100 millimetres in under an hour. That is more rain than Adelaide gets in an entire month, falling in 60 minutes. Total February rainfall in Darwin typically exceeds 300 millimetres and can push past 400. But the critical danger is cyclone risk. February is the peak season for tropical cyclones in northern Australian waters. Cyclonic systems can form over the Timor Sea or the Arafura Sea and track towards the coast. The timing to watch is the 2nd and 3rd weeks of February, when sea surface temperatures peak and atmospheric conditions are most favourable for cyclone development. If you are in Darwin or anywhere across the top end, keep a close eye on Bureau of Meteorology cyclone warnings daily. Have an emergency plan ready. Know your nearest cyclone shelter. This is not about fear. This is about being prepared. But here is the beautiful twist about Darwin. Despite the extreme weather, the landscape right now is absolutely spectacular. Thundering waterfalls in Kakadu National Park at full force, floodplains teeming with millions of migratory birds, and those incredible summer lightning shows that turn the tropical sky into a natural fireworks display every single evening. It is wild, dramatic, and uniquely Australian. Alice Springs, deep in the red centre. Mid-February here is not for the faint-hearted. Average daily maximums around 35 degrees, regularly pushing to 38 or 40, sometimes soaring past 42 to 45 during extreme events. And overnight, only dropping to 22 to 24. The heat barely lets up. But the real danger in Alice Springs is how dry it is. Humidity is rock bottom. Your sweat evaporates instantly, so you cannot feel how much fluid you are losing. Dehydration and heat stroke are genuine medical emergencies for visitors. If you are heading to Uluru or Kings Canyon this fortnight, carry at least 3 to 4 litres of water per person per day. Avoid outdoor activities between 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. Tell someone your travel plans. Flash flooding from desert thunderstorms is another hidden risk. Dry creek beds can become raging torrents in minutes. If you see dark clouds building, get away from low-lying areas immediately. But here is the reward for enduring that heat. The night sky over Alice Springs is one of the best on planet Earth for stargazing. Bone-dry air, minimal light pollution, crystal clear visibility. The Milky Way stretched across the desert sky will stay with you forever. The northwest coast of Western Australia and Coral Bay. Midday temperatures of 35 to 42 degrees. Intense, relentless heat. But the moment you step into the water at Coral Bay, you are greeted by the magnificent Ningaloo Reef, one of the largest fringing reefs on Earth. Sea temperatures of 27 to 29 degrees. Crystal clear water bursting with tropical marine life. You can snorkel right off the beach. Rainfall is rare, but watch for tropical low-pressure systems that can bring short bursts of intense rain. Inland Queensland and the outback. Western Queensland is regularly posting 38 to 42 degrees. Cracked earth, red dust swirling, heat haze shimmering to the horizon. The southern Queensland ranges offer relief as a natural air conditioner, with temperatures markedly cooler than the surrounding plains. Inland South Australia and the Lake Eyre Basin, one of the driest places on the entire planet. Temperatures routinely exceeding 40 degrees, sometimes pushing to an absolutely staggering 45 to 48. Annual rainfall averages just 150 millimetres for the entire year. But in rare years, when monsoonal rains push far enough south, Lake Eyre fills with water and becomes Australia's largest lake, attracting millions of migratory birds in one of nature's most extraordinary spectacles. Inland New South Wales, towns like Broken Hill, Burke and Dubbo recording 33 to 38 degrees. But the eastern side along the Great Dividing Range picks up considerably more rainfall. Moisture-laden Pacific winds hit the mountains, get forced upward and produce rain. Some parts of eastern New South Wales can receive 600 to over 1,200 millimetres in February alone. That is an enormous figure within a single state. And finally, Tasmania, the cool escape. Hobart, topping out at just 20 to 23 degrees during the day, overnight dropping to a fresh 10 to 13 degrees, clean, crisp air, no oppressive humidity, no scorching heat, moderate rainfall with light showers mixed with lovely fine days. The east coast of Tassie tends to be drier than the west. This is an absolute dream for nature lovers. Bushwalking through Cradle Mountain National Park, exploring Wineglass Bay, fresh seafood and world-class Pinot Noir, all in blissfully cool conditions. So here is your action plan for mid-February 2026. Light breathable clothing in cotton or linen for most of the country. A light jacket if you are in Melbourne, Canberra or Tasmania where nights get cool. Sun protection factor 50 plus sunscreen everywhere, no exceptions. The ultraviolet down here is ferocious. Carry a water bottle and drink constantly, especially inland and in the tropics. If you want the least rain, head to Perth or Adelaide. If you want tropical drama, Darwin and the top end deliver like nowhere else. If you want to escape the heat entirely, Tasmania is waiting with open arms. And check the Bureau of Meteorology app daily. Australian weather changes fast and that app is your best mate. Drop a comment right now with your city or town. I read every single one and I will reply with specific forecasts for your area. And in the next video, I am covering the late February to early March transition because a major pattern shift is building across the Tasman Sea that could change everything for the eastern seaboard. You do not want to miss that one. Stay safe out there, protect yourself from the sun, drink plenty of water and have an absolute